happy until you got to the last line where you said the issue of resources cropped up again. That has always been one of the challenges of elections in Nigeria. Once you don't have resources in any electoral process, in any elections, clearly what you are doing is window dressing. It means really that resource may be written somewhere else other than the voting center, and this is very disturbing. I hope that last line is not true, and if it is, I'm sure the tribunals will be at work again, and who knows what to come out of it. I was hoping that with all that we all went through before this very election, that all the parties, all the candidates, everybody involved would have come to the conclusion that commitment to a free and fair electoral process and obeying the rules would necessarily be the order of the day. But clearly, as you can see, the stakes are getting higher and higher for the political parties and the politicians, that they're not really completely ready to allow the rules guide them. I just hope that we don't have reason to be frightened the more from correspondence at the field.
Okay. Barrister, what do you have to say to that?
Well, the report is disturbing. It's disturbing. You know, I had my fears when in the morning segment, and my colleagues here were like, I was a prophet of doom, which I'm being now, confirmed not to be one, but speaking the facts. I like speaking the facts the way they are. I don't like biting my tongue. I just tell you the way the things are. I don't like window dressing. They have all prepared for violence. There's no two ways about it. That was why I was begging the two political parties to please. We have not had any death. I am praying that till the end of the day we will not hear any death. As I was coming back from here, because I went to another station, before coming back in between that break, a soldier stopped me at the first artillery junction, and I was like, I showed him my pass, the NTA pass that I'm going to NTA, back to NTA. He said, looked at it. He said, but they wrote 9th. I said, do you expect them to write 10th? Today, that is the only thing. I don't even know that the man read everything. Only that night, soldier all over the place. Why soldier? They didn't even tell us how many soldiers deployed. They only said 28,000 policemen. He just read. I noticed that the man didn't see every other thing. He saw the NTA logo, and now he saw 9th. I said, yesterday is 9th. Now, that was the day the letter was made. He said, I said, the letter couldn't have been written today. He said, come down. Go and open your boot. I opened my boot. He looked at it. He looked at it again. He said, what is your name? I said, my name is written there. He said, which one be your name? Nana, the up one have been at the down. I was just pissed off. I just took my papers and I said, they're coming to this place. Let them please, let this be the list that we are hearing. Let there not be more.
Okay, so Director, what's the take?
In fact, as you are reading it, I was nodding my head only to hear that sad part, because it's not good for you after preparing and you start hearing something awkward. It demoralizes one for the job you have put in all that. I think that if that report is true, INEC must go back and check themselves, because this is the same thing that happened in Bonny before. Bonny there was no violence in Bonny. The problem in Bonny before, they said the result sheets were fake. Now, if it is true, now there are no result sheets again. Are we deteriorating, or we are making progress? So I think that everybody given responsibilities must sit up. I don't want to believe that report is true, but now that it's been mentioned, please, all those who have something, because my people from my office, I have my own officers at the SG. I just spoke to him when I left here. He just reported, and as I was coming back, in fact, he spoke to me twice. He said distributions have been done, and particularly in Fenema, that they had finished, and I think he said voting has started in some parts. So as I heard this, that's why I said, let us be sure that what we are hearing is the truth.
Actually, a report just came in courtesy of Karina Ideneko. We are hoping that their report will be ready. But it says the Nigerian police force are in high spirits for the conduct of the supplementary legislative rerun elections. Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Habila Joshaki, says they are on top of the situation as he is leading a monitoring team to ensure a smooth conduct. Professor.
That should be our wish. Our wish is that the police, everybody should do their job. I am not one of those who think that if we do the right thing, the police should be supervising people to do their civic responsibility. It is one of those signs that we are not doing the right thing. As we improve with time, people will conduct themselves. Police don't supervise me when I go to collect money from the ATM. And I'm sure I'm not going to take money that's not mine.
Yeah.
The world has reached a stage where if you vote, you have voted. If you did not vote, you did not vote. I have said it in my serious discussion somewhere else that if we want to conduct free and fair elections, we don't need anybody to monitor them. You can't vote twice. You can't cheat. You can't run away with any material. So I hope that before 2019, INEC, everybody will sit up and begin to improve the system instead of doing this kind of gun monitoring and ensuring that nobody is a criminal and all that. I'm telling you that if you want to cheat in many democracies, you just cannot. You'll be caught and you'll be jailed. Why are we not raising the bar to the point where our elections will do exactly what we want to see them do?
Okay, so I guess that report is ready now. We'll take that again. The Nigerian police force are in high spirit for the conduct of the supplementary legislative rerun elections. Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations, Habila Joshaki, says they are on top of the situation and he is leading a monitoring team to ensure a smooth conduct. Let's take that report now.
What are you doing to be on top of the game?
It's not hectic. These are the games people play on election day. These are games played on election day. There's nothing hectic about it.
What about social media? How far have you gone in cutting?
There is nothing significant. All what we want is we want people to send CTREP of observation to call us and tell us what they observe and we react like what I'm doing. If you go there, there's nobody dead, there's nobody, if there's anyone shooting, he's not shooting at a position where people would really want to see. But wherever that he's shooting, we want to chase him and disarm him if possible.
In the last 3-4 hours, distribution has taken place. Voting is on in some areas. What can you tell us about the security situation across the 3 senatorial districts?
Well, the security situation across the 3 senatorial district is you. Because you are very close to the people and you've gone around. I haven't gone all. But I can tell you that from the posting that I've met and from the reserve that I've met and the reinforcement I'm making, I can tell you that there's a big disconnect between what happened in the other subsequent election than this one. And I can assure you now that the shooting, sporadically, marauding firearms bearer, people walking freely and taking the shots on people, never happened. And I think I will drive this engine until the end of this election.
Besides bearer, are there any other issue that you want to address?
No, I told you, games people play on election day is what is happening. They magnify issues, which is also good for us. They call, even when mosquitoes are passing, they call that there's a lion or there's an elephant passing, which is also good for us. We are doing that and we're using that and it is awakening us. But I can tell you that comparing this, if you want to compare this election with the last one, I'm sure we're on course. And we're going to put more effort to make sure that the voice and the vote of the electorate counts.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's the Deputy IG right there speaking. We'll get back to that, but for now, let's join our reporter Kingsley Amajori live to tell us the situation report in Port Harcourt town.
Beat the rich.
Well, we're seem to be having a little difficulty trying to connect live there to Kisley. I'm sure we'll get back to him. But meanwhile, gentlemen, let's go back to the promises of the Deputy IG. Do you think that is enough to just say that there's bound to be peace, or do you envisage anything outside that?
You see, you have to appreciate. You can see that the DIG is anxious to ensure that the process moves smoothly, just like every other Nigerian. It's disturbed just like most Nigerians that we cannot simply follow the rules, exercise our electoral rights, and then allow the process to come. You saw his language, the normal games. You see, he used a very polite language, the normal games. Politicians know what game the DIG talked about.
So it's no longer business as usual.
It's no longer business as usual in the sense that police will try to curtail the excesses that we normally would have been shouting about. But he didn't tell you that he was having a perfect election. So our goal, I keep repeating, is after all this, we don't wait for the next election to begin to see this issue. They should be prevented. They can be prevented by animals with the intellect. That is why we are not lower animals. These things can be prevented. They have been prevented in other parts of the world. We can't be different.
Okay, Barrister, you may want to come in here.
Yeah, you see, my problem has been that we talk, and we don't do. You know, it's a problem. I told you that without the compromisation or the cooperation of the security agencies, there won't be rigging of elections. In the other station when I went there, they said that one politician was even moving out with soldiers, that on the vehicles of even the soldiers, you see Rivers Rerun with the party logo on it, on the particular party logo on those vehicles. You see the heavy truck of army moving with a particular politician. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police said that they were going to withdraw all the all the security details of the aspirants before now, but we have seen that today they were not withdrawn. They were really not withdrawn because some of them still have their security details. Because I have said that even if he said that or even if he did that, it was wrong. Because you shouldn't. Because the law says if the man comes to the polling unit with his political details, that's when he's committing an offense. But if he stays in his house with his family and his political details, they are at his gate, and maybe again. You don't go and withdraw his but they didn't. But he threatened to withdraw. He said few days to the election they will withdraw. But from what I'm seeing now, they did not withdraw the security details of anybody except the ones we saw that they said they were moving on the road with Juju, and the particular former commissioner was arrested, and the other one with some boys. I was asking them, I said, how do they know it's Juju? I don't know what they saw, and they said it's Juju. So I don't know. So I was asking, but the guy did not tell us what he saw to be said to confirm that those things were Juju speculations.
Okay, Director, sir.
Well, I'm aware that a lot of things will be thrown up in these elections, real and imaginary. And it will not be good for us to begin to accept all that we hear and say. Because of the hype for this election, a lot of speculations, a lot of issues have been thrown up. As I said earlier in the morning, there are people who have decided they must be criminals no matter what you do to them. It happens in every class. There are people, just like a common saying, wash a pig, polish a pig, he will steal a pig, he will go back. Those are they never want to change people. But I think that what is happening, these are from all that we're hearing, these are, let me use the word, isolated cases we're hearing. But on the overall, we're hearing elections are going on, individuals, and that's why I keep saying, just as some of us are saying, these elections should be an eye-opener to the whole country, not just Nigeria, not just Rivers State. We must begin to build institutions. Institutions will change this thing around, not individuals. That I'm here today as director of NOA, that institution should guide me. Whoever I am, whatever I think, the institution should direct me because that is what the institution stands for. We have played this politics according to our own whims and caprices. That's why people wake up tomorrow, they say, I did this for you. You didn't do it for me. You are given mandate to do it for us because it was not your money. So people must stand and do the right thing.
Let me still stay with you. You know, internal democracy within the party system is becoming a huge problem.
That is a major problem.
Yes, so what can we do to entrench?
We will continually talk and shout as civil society, as organized private sectors, we must rise because, look, nobody wants to take power away from, if he has a power, that people should take away from them. Let me give you a typical example of what happened to Nigerian politicians since 1999. In 1999, there were rules, because they were not in the constitution, so to say, but there were regulations by INEC and other bodies to screen, look at who should contest an election. As soon as politicians took power in 1999, they removed it and said, look, you cannot screen our people. We will screen. So even when they throw up a goat, throw up a thief, throw up whoever, take him. If you don't like, go to court. In a sense, society, there are institutions, there are processes, and we must return to those processes and institutions. That is the only way internal democracy. Secondly, internal democracy cannot work. Before I could say secondly, that's why you have this godfatherism. Why do you have godfatherism? The man breathes down on the party. But if you and me are members of a political party, we pay our contributions. Whatever you bring is your business, but every day we are committed to pay. When you share, I'll say, no, I also contributed. But someone is funding the party, and at the end of the day, he wants to bring a candidate. He said, my friend, go and sit down. Do you know what I have done all this time? So I think that internal democracy is very important in this country for this our political system to grow.
Okay, Prof, still talking about funding the parties. Who actually is his duty to fund political parties?
Well, I think that the first challenge is to appreciate what a party is. Okay. Briefly, a party is supposed to be an organization set up by people who share a common vision of a society for the purpose of capturing power through usually an election, and also to deliver the content of their party manifesto to the people. Once you form a party in line with established rules, ideologies, and things like that, parties are usually funded by members of that party. And that is the real challenge we have in Nigeria. Political parties don't run down to the grassroots. They are usually not mass-based. They are usually not funded with the dues of membership. There are people who own parties in Nigeria. We have to be frank. So if we want to correct all this, as you are saying, we must go back. I have written severally calling for 2 political parties in this country, so that we have some kind of stability in our polity, whether here or you are not there. If you want to run as an independent candidate, that's your business. When you have 2 parties, we now go down to open internal democracies in these parties. You don't come and call people and call convention. You select ex-commissioner, ex-that, all that. They go into a convention. Once you do that, you have created a cabal. You have created exactly internal institutions that will destroy the main institution. So in the United States, you have 2 general elections. The one for selecting candidates and the one for the main election. In this era of ICTC and technology, you can run elections for your members, open, transparent, so that even when you are supposed to have factions within a party, the majority within the party, because it will be internal democracy as democracy, factions will be meaningless. What we call factions in Nigeria are a function of struggle for control of internal party mechanism for producing candidates. You see, so if we want democracy, we can reform our polity to end all these things you are seeing. If you have a power sharing arrangement that allows a party that won election to be the leading party in government, and the others to also be party in government, not leading party, the whole arrangement will change. But here it's exclusive. You win, your opponent will suffer until the next election, and then you are now in power. Of course, who wants to lose power? And it is common knowledge that in Africa, party politics is like warfare. It's documented. That is why Ghana is becoming a shining example. You can see in the past 20 years or so, they've been changing governments. So we need to find out what's happening in Ghana that is not happening in Nigeria. We need to quickly change, because if you mismanage democracy, you are ruined. You can even slide down the staircase if you don't quickly manage the errors in a democracy.
Okay, for change, we need to change. After all, that's the latest thing we're doing right now. Changing. We're still hoping to connect back to Kingsley there to give us situation reports at the Port Harcourt town. If that report is ready, let's take that. Okay, the report seems not to be ready. Let me come to you, Barrister. You know that we're still expecting elections in Anambra, Ekiti, and Osun. And you know there's been this hate campaign going on all over the place. What exactly can we do to reduce hate campaign?
Well, that's a very on the spot question. I think the politicians should do something about it. The politicians should do something about it. Then we can also go further, because in this country we've discovered that if you don't put things into law, if you don't prohibit some things, some people will go ahead and continue to do that thing. So a legislation could be there where you intentionally or maliciously, gives a hate speech or tells lies, perjury. You could be arrested and prosecuted. So it will also help, because the level of hate speech is from the main characters, not just even their subordinates, the main men. I call them the point men, the leader men, the arrowheads, they are main men. When they make such kind of hate speeches, it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, if the man is saying that, what will the ones under the cadre do? They will now have to say, our God don't give us license. Let us come on, we fall the guy. Hey, bulldoze them, do waiting, because you know that he will back them up. But if he himself restrains himself from hate speeches and perjury and lying against the other party just to win election, you see that it will go a very long way to the subordinates to say, our guy is not behaving like this. Let's not behave that way. So I think the law, number one, laws could be made. I like what they are doing now. I think the National Assembly just passed a law to make it mandatory for the president and the governor to appoint their commissioners within 30 days. Wonderful idea. Wonderful one. So things like that. Now, if you fail to conduct the election appoint your commissioners and ministers within 30 days of your being sworn in, then it becomes a crime. Then the other one, they should also go to the local government and make it mandatory that the election must be conducted, and let the money go from the national to the local government, not to give to the governor to share with them. That's another level of corruption. That's why I say our constitution legalizes and encourages corruption.
Okay, thank you so much. Director, I heard you, I saw you shaking your head. You may want to add one or two things quickly before.
Yes, what I want to say is that I have said repeatedly, structure. We must put up a structure. Okay. Once you get the structure in place, people are already checkmated. If the structures are not there, if the structures are dependent on individuals, my style will be different from that of his and all that. So if there's a structure, we'll get it right. So I believe that hate speeches, all such manners come because of our attitude, our indiscipline. Okay. I have said more than others. Let me speak my own. Okay. In the process, we are disciplined. But if there are structures, you know that once you fall out of line, you will be disciplined.
Thank you, Director. I'm sorry, I have to take it. Your parting words, Professor, just in a second, please.
No, democracy is in Nigeria is developing, and we must ensure that it develops well. That's all.
Okay, Barrister.
Well, we should imbibe. We don't need to stay 300 years to get it right. Okay. We can just copy America, what they just did the last time, and Ghana. Just copy something. We don't need to wait that long to get it right.
Okay, you've heard it from the gentleman right here in the studio. We need to copy other people like Ghana. We need to, let change, the change mantra begin with us indeed. And that's how we wrap it up here from the live studios of the River State rerun election. Discussions will continue here later in the day. We will now be joining Abuja for a continuation of the programs out there. Have a successful day.
Service of the NTA.